Hi there, you're watching Meet the Ministers. My guest on the program this evening is the Shadow Minister for Child Safety, Disability Services and Mental Health, the member for Aspley, Tracy Davis. Tracy, welcome.
Thank you, Shaun. It's great to be here.
It's often said that politics is a career that chooses you. Did you choose your career in politics or did it choose you?
I think there's a bit of both in that. It was not a career that I'd certainly mapped out early in my life, but I think you get given opportunities in life or circumstances, arise in your life where it's appropriate to put your hand up to do certain things, and an opportunity presented itself in my life to put my hand up to represent the people of Aspley, and I felt I had something to contribute, and so I put my hand up, went through.
Tell me about that opportunity. How did that come about?
Well, running for Aspley was the third time that I'd run for State Parliament. I'd run for the seat of Everton back in 2004, primarily, I admit, because there was nobody else that was interested in the seat. It was a very large margin with a very popular local member.
Good way to learn the business.
A good way to learn the business, yeah. And so that opportunity presented itself, and I decided to run for the Liberal Party after endorsement, and it was a really great learning opportunity. What I didn't expect was how much I enjoyed that connection to the community. I really was probably a head-on-a-stick candidate for that election. Mm-hmm. You've probably heard that term before, on unwinnable seats. Yeah. But I found that I really enjoyed it, and talking to local residents about their issues. And I had my own. I had difficulty getting public transport for my children to school in the outer northern suburbs in the early 90s. It was growing at a rate of knots, and the infrastructure was just simply not keeping up with the population growth out there. So I found that I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed representing them, even if it was writing a letter to the minister or consulting. And so it was a fantastic experience. And I think that gave me the taste for it, and was offered an opportunity in the seat of Aspley, which abuts Everton, and if you live in that area, you'd know that it's a community of interest anyway. It's not separated by an electoral boundary line. And an opportunity came to run for the seat of Aspley. I stood for pre-selection and was successful. Not as successful as at the election in 2006, but still nonetheless really, really enjoyed it, and felt again I had something to offer. So in 2009, or in the lead up to that election anyway, put my hand up again, and thankfully the local membership felt I'd done a good enough job and wanted me to represent them in the local area, and well, the result was that we were successful. Yeah. And so it's been a wonderful experience. It's been an interesting journey.
Certainly a good sign, and something that the powers that be behind the scenes are looking out for, is that if you can acquit yourself in what we term an unwinnable seat, then you're doing pretty well. Yeah, well, I didn't
participate, or I certainly didn't put my hand up for an unwinnable seat because I thought that I would run again. I thought it was probably a one-off. Yeah. So what came out of it though was that this was what I wanted to do. I'd found my space. I was in my early 40s, and it was at that time of my life. My children were growing up. It was, what is my next step? Yeah. So I'm not an accidental politician, but it was certainly not planned that way. But I got the taste, and I'm a bit tenacious. I don't give up, very readily, and continued on.
Was it a hard transition for you to make?
What, into politics?
Yeah.
From
what you've been doing? I mean, you've got a background in small business, and you've worked in political offices, but you've never run as a parliamentarian before. A lot of changes for you to make in the way you look at your life and the way you go about your day. Yeah,
I think you just have to be very organised, and that's certainly the case when you're a mum or a parent, and you're running a small business. Oh, it was a change because it's a different job, but in terms of planning, at the end of the day, you're looking after your constituents, and in my small business, that's your client, and you work to get the best outcomes and results, whether it's supplying them with a kitchen, which is my business outside of politics, or providing them with interaction with government, or whatever their requirement is through the electorate office. It's about getting a result for the end user.
Yeah. Is it an easy adjustment for you to make to find yourself fulfilling the expectations of your electorate? Because you're finding your way into it as well.
Yeah.
You've been in it for a while now, and of course, once you're elected, your electorate expects you to be on the money and doing the job for them straight away. And yet, I would imagine for somebody new to the business, it can be quite, for want of a better word, it can be pretty scary to suddenly find yourself under pressure and on the money, ready to go, sort of thing. Is it hard to find your way through those first initial periods?
Well, I will admit here that when it became clear on election night that I had been successful in securing the seat, my next thought was, what have I done? and I mean that in how am I going to provide exactly what you've just described to the electorate. You're right, I had worked in political offices before. I had seen how they operated and I had seen how the members of parliament interacted with their constituency, but it was not my constituency, and I just went in just wanting to help people. I think that's the bottom line. I was there to help people, to make their life a bit easier in dealing with government, to be there as a support to them. And I have a great love of the northern suburbs of Brisbane. I've lived there for most of my life. And I just wanted a better deal for them and me, because I live in the electorate, so that we're not left out. Because for a long time we were just sort of out in the northern suburbs, and as I was saying, the infrastructure wasn't keeping up with the movement of people out to those areas, and so I've just gone in wanting to help people, and that's what drives me. I just love being with people. In my small business, it was meeting people. My parents had a small business in retail. It was dealing with people. I just like people, and I love the diversity that they bring to the table. And just, one of the great things about being a member of parliament is that you meet some really amazing people that just get about doing their day-to-day stuff. They don't see it as being anything more than ordinary or their life, but can be quite humbling and sometimes quite inspiring. And I didn't expect that. I didn't expect to get that out of it. I knew I would enjoy the work. I didn't understand how much I would enjoy learning about the people in the electorate beyond, helping them connect with Queensland Health. Or
you can never truly understand what it entails until you're sitting behind the desk.
It's been anyway, so it's just fantastic. I've loved it, and they've been very welcoming, the people in Aspley, and they're just a really great group of people.
You're very proud of living up there. And
I love it. We are, we just get on with life. We don't complain too much. Just, most of the people in the area, have worked hard all their lives, or they're dual income people. They just get on with the tasks at hand. They're struggling under the weight of cost of living at the moment, but that's felt across the state. But we just get on. They just get on with life. They contribute to the local community, whether it's through volunteering or in their work environment and small business, but it's just a great place to live. We don't have fancy beaches or, some of the great sites. We have the Aspley hypermarket, and let me tell you that it was the first location of McDonald's in Queensland. So Aspley has some wonderful things, but mostly it's the people that make up that electoral boundary that really inspire me to do the best for them.
Okay. You're watching Meet the Ministers, and we'll be back after the break.